Hello financial investors and welcome to the channel. My name is Brent and in today's video we are going to be doing week 7 of our stock market change. We're going to go ahead and cover the dates between the 15th and the 19th of February 2021. We're going to go ahead and kick off this video by going over week 6, which is up on the screen now. Then we're going to go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin current price. It was just trading at $50,000 just a few days ago, and now it's added a few thousand onto that number. And I am considering selling a little bit of Bitcoin that I do own. But, let me know down in the comment section below, are you holding any Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies? Then in this video, we're going to quickly take a look at the 1 week performance of our M1 Finance portfolio, and then dive into the 4 main indexes, taking a look at the S&P, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and the Russell 2000. Take a look at the entire S&P 500 performance for this past week. What stocks were up, what stocks were down, what sectors were strong, what sectors were weak. Then we'll take a look at oil, dollar, silver, gold, bonds, the 10-year rate, the 10-year yield, and mortgage rates. So this is just going to be a quick recap of this past week. I like to do these for historical reference. That way I can kind of take a look at, where we were at here in the market. And I believe that the new stimulus package was recently signed. I believe I got something in the mail this week that says within the next 5 days, I should be getting another stimulus payout. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm not sure if anybody else had received something like that, but that is what we're going to be covering in this video. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Of course, if you are brand new to the channel, have not yet subscribed, go down below, hit the red button to subscribe, make it gray, hit the bell to be notified every time we release a brand new video, and of course give this video a thumbs up, make it blue, and let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, now taking a look, this is week 6, changes up on the screen now. We're going to go ahead and cover the 8th through the 12th. Back last week, Tesla started buying up some Bitcoin. Bitcoin could now be used with Apple Pay. So Bitcoin is becoming more available and is being able to be used by more individuals. I saw an article where there are sellers in New York who are selling their businesses, or they're selling property for Bitcoin. I believe it was 5 Bitcoin for a New York City bar. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Now the S&P 500 last week was positive by 0.49. The Dow Jones positive by 0.23. The Nasdaq was positive by 0.77. So the Nasdaq had the highest gain last week. And then we had the Russell 2000, which had the best gains the prior weeks, had a bit of a cool off period and was actually just down by 0.02% in the negative. So essentially flat, but it was a little red. Silver was up 1.48, gold had moved up 0.54, and bonds were negative at 0.14% last week. The 10-year bond rate also moved higher by 3 points from 1.17 to 1.2, and mortgage rates went down from 2.99 to 2.97. Now I did hear that this past week mortgage rates had a bit of a spike. I was able to lock in my rate, and I found that my closing date will be here at the very end of March, so I'm really excited. My wife had just walked through our house today and she saw that the flooring was put in on the first floor, and we have our bathroom flooring in, and the walls are kind of painted with the white color at the moment until they get their full stuff. So there's still cabinets and all of the other items that are still needed to be added, but we do have a closing date at the very end of March, so we're pretty excited about that. And that's about 40 days away now from being able to close on that property, and we'll be listing our current home here within the next 2 weeks. And I'm sure we'll get quite a few offers on that as well. So we have some news and fun stuff going on here in the next few weeks. Now jumping into the price of Bitcoin. Now over the past 5 days, Bitcoin went from 49,158 to now trading at $56,279. Now, I don't own much more than a few, I think it's maybe $1,000 of Bitcoin at this point. That is not very much. I mine it using NiceHash, and I don't have an amazing card. I think I have a 1080 card on my computer here, so I only mine anywhere from $6 to $7 per day, and this is just over the past several years I've been mining, and this is what it's been able to accumulate since that time. I've never actually purchased Bitcoin in itself. I've always just mined it and then let it just kind of hold on to it. Now I am considering selling off on that Bitcoin, but I'm just not sure at the moment. I've just had it so long now, what is the point of really selling it off versus, just having a piece of what is Bitcoin and, the history going forward of where it's at. Elon Musk is down here saying that now that it has passed that 1 trillion market cap, he believes it's a little high, So that's his vocally expression there. Now, jumping over into the M1 Finance app, this is where I wanted to go ahead and take a quick hammer hit and take a look at some of the past or the week performance. So the markets themselves, I believe, were negative this week. Now, we were negative by roughly 0.24%. Our current value of the portfolio did drop below. That is because this week we sold out of 2 positions. We sold out of, let's go ahead and take a look. We sold out of Genuine Parts and Kellogg's. Now, this isn't the correct information right there. So if we go here, we'll see that we sold out of $819.71 of equity. We sold out of Kellogg's and we sold out of Genuine Parts. Now, I sold out of both of these because they were both positive here in the short term, but I believe going forward they are, Kellogg's for sure. When I looked at their financial metrics, when I looked at their price history, they don't have anything financially going for them where I believe that they will really rebound to the upside in the future. And their current price is going down, so I do believe that they don't have too much here in the short term, or 5-10 years out. I'll have to take a look at them in the future, but in the short term, not really worth it. So I sold out of them. And Genuine Parts, kind of the same thing. I didn't see a whole lot of growth opportunity there with Genuine Parts. I see more growth opportunity with Method, so I decided to go ahead and buy that. Now I am going to be buying more of it off video. So in this case, over the past week, if we take a look at our worst performers, we should have ticker symbol MEI down 1.34. So it is down a little bit this past week, which is what I'm looking for. I would like to see it maybe drop down 5-10% before I buy another little dip, but I would like to get the rest of this cash balance invested into this company as this company dips, and that'll return my value of the portfolio back over that $30,000 threshold, and then we'll continue getting dividends here in the future based off the shares that we currently hold within the portfolio. So last week, between the 15th and the 19th, we had Avi paying out $12.66, Realty Income paying out $3.04, and we had Caterpillar paying out $5.99. So we did make a few dividends as well, and this portfolio will just be mainly driven by future dividend payouts within the portfolio. So it's going to be self-investing within itself. Now, jumping over into the indexes, we're going to go ahead and kick it off by taking a look at the S&P 500. Now, for this past week, the S&P 500 is down 0.71%. We can see a massive slide here on Thursday. I wasn't really tracking what exactly was taking place out there in the market. But, let me know down in the comment section below if there is anything specific that you saw that had affected the market going down. I think at this time we are trading at near highs here of 3,950. So in my mind, there may not be anything out there in the market that is causing the market to go down. It is just that we have not had a big pullback. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 1 year. We haven't had a big pullback, like a hard pullback, since February of 2020. Here we are in February of 2021. We're chugging through this thing. We might not see a big pullback as we saw back in 2020, but I would like to see even a small pullback such as this, maybe a 5, 10, 15% pullback. I think may have been 10%, but I would like to see a 10% pullback. I guess this is a little double bottom here. So let's go ahead and see 6 months out. So we can see a double bottom right here, and then a double bottom, but this one was a lower one. Double bottom here as well, and another double bottom as well. So maybe we did have a bit of a pullback here in late January, but it just didn't feel like it. And it just seems like we're just going higher and higher. So if we do have a bit of a pullback, say 10, 15% here in the short term, that would put me more at ease and probably provide a little bit more opportunity for where we're at with the market. The Dow Jones this week is positive by 0.11%. It is also up year to date by 2.9%, a little bit behind the S&P 500. Now in second place, we have the Nasdaq up 7.65% year to date. It is down the most this week, down 1.57%. And then we have the best year to date. We have the Russell 2000 up a whopping 14.78%. And this is its second week in a row now where it is now negative, down by 0.99%. So essentially down 1% this week. So really the only index that was positive for this week was the Dow Jones, which was positive by 0.11%. So there we are. My portfolio was down roughly 0.24, S&P down 0.71, Dow Jones up 0.11, the Nasdaq down 1.57, and the Russell 2000 down 0.99%. Now jumping into the 1 week performance here of the S&P 500, let's go ahead and go switch to the 1 week there. And let's go ahead and zoom in just a tad. Right there, and we can go ahead and zoom this way, and there we go. Now we can take a look at where we already saw that the Nasdaq was negative this week. So a lot of those tech companies, Tesla, Facebook, Disney, Netflix, T-Mobile, Microsoft, Adobe, Apple, a lot of those are negative. We have seen in the past that we could go a couple weeks where the FANG stocks are just getting hammered pretty hard, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're up 5-10% in a week, completely recovering their losses over the past few weeks. So we may see how that plays out in the future. Now, what stands out to me right now, if you look at this heat map and you look at those really bright green marks, I really see financials. So JP Morgan up 6.28%, Bank of America 5.05, Wells Fargo 15.62. I saw a couple investors in the dividend investing groups on Facebook who were completely tired of Wells Fargo's performance over the past few months and completely sold out of their shares. They had several thousand shares of Wells Fargo and had sold out of it. So here I am looking at this where it jumped 15.62%. I bet as an investor, when you sell out of a position and then have it go up double digits, that's a pretty hard hit, especially when they had held it for such a long time. Also, we have the regional banks really positive, and energy and gas pretty positive. Travel, as they are bringing down, with the vaccines and stuff, they're bringing down all their travel bans and all sorts of stuff. So you can see a lot of these travel businesses, travel services beginning to kind of pick up. I haven't seen where they have been performing here over the past year. But I'm sure that a few of these, if you take a look at their financials, that could be an interesting opportunity for finding something that may be considered of a value. You just have to take a look at their financials. So those are some of the main areas that really stick out: financials and energy and travel. Everything else in the market was pretty mixed, with a little red, a little green out there in the market. Now oil this week down 0.65%. But it is still positive this year to date by 20.21%. We have the dollar moving a little bit less, a little bit to the lower. It started off at 90.43 and moved down to 90.34. So we've seen the dollar continuing to get weaker. It may drop here into the $80 mark here in the next few weeks, as that stimulus gets pushed out, as the U.S. takes on more debt and drops that US dollar value down. Silver and gold are both negative this week. Silver down 0.24%. Year to date down or positive by 2.77, and gold this week is down by 2.16%, down year to date by 6.36%. So gold pretty hard hit and actually negative for the year now. And bonds down 0.68%. Bonds are down 2.2%. So, my bond in my portfolio, when I look at bonds, I don't actually ever try and own any bond funds, but I own companies that act such as bonds. So AT&T would be a really good example where it really hasn't had the performance of, any performance in it over the past few years. If we look back, I do own AT&T. I'm actually considering selling out of AT&T here in the short term. Now that it does have a market gain there, I believe, let's take a look here. Nope, it has not had a market gain yet. Maybe in the future it will. Overall it's still positive because of the earned dividends, but I would really like to kind of get rid of this position because just over the past several years, I've owned this company for the past 3 years now, and it's essentially flat. The only thing that I have to show for it is those dividends, but I'm just getting paid out my dividends, but I'm losing the market gain. The price is going down, getting paid out to me. If this was in a taxable account, I would have to pay taxes on these dividends, and I'd be losing out on the equity. So I'd basically be getting paid out my equity from the share price and then having to get paid taxes on those. So right now AT&T just is acting more as a stable bond where it's kind of paying you out and it's kind of maintaining its price. I do see in the future it may bounce up into the 30s again. But we shall see. It's been taking on quite a bit of debt here in the recent times. And we have our 10-year treasury. It moved from 1.2% to now 1.34. So that's a huge upswing. That's a 14-point upswing here just within the last week alone. And we have mortgage rates moving 8 points positive. So this is where I was kind of talking about, where I recently locked in my 30-year mortgage rate at 2.75%, and I saw a lot of individuals in the Facebook groups and other channels just talking about where they currently locked in, and a lot of their offers in that 3.25% range. So there's a big difference right now from where I locked in at a 2.75 just a few weeks ago to now they're getting offers of 3.25%. And a lot of financial advisors or the mortgage specialists that I talk to, I work at a credit union. So when I'm talking to them saying, hey, how are rates looking at right now? A lot of them believe that rates will be actually rising here in the future. And that's not going to be causing housing prices to really fall just because the demand right now for housing is really, really high. So we may see high housing prices continue to stay pretty strong or continue to move higher, and we may see interest rates moving back, or mortgage rates moving back into those 3% range versus the 2% range that we've seen here recently. So that is a lot of information that we here just covered this past week. I did post my prior week, so because I didn't cover my weekly by last week, I went ahead and posted a screenshot. Now in this video, I went ahead and did cover my weekly performance. I also covered some of the weekly activity as far as what we sold out of and the dividends. So that is going to be included in this video. I went ahead and made another video this past week going over 5 companies that I was taking a look at. This is my Thursday's video where I went ahead and took a look at the financials of these 5 companies and made the decision to buy, ticker symbol MEI. If you guys haven't checked out that video, definitely check it out. When your favorite stock is dipping, so you buy more, but it continues to dip. So here's me adding a little bit of money to dollar cost average into, say, Altria. And you know what? Altria just hasn't been doing well. So there's still a few positions in my portfolio where I am just not going to be dollar cost averaging into. AT&T is one of those positions where it just doesn't make sense in the short term to dollar cost average into them, because in the future I do plan on selling out of them. Waco Group, retail, I'm not really planning on buying any more of them. Altria, Altria has had a really nice recovery. I would really like to see that fully recover back into the positive, but we'll see how that one plays out. This is just kind of getting assisted with dividends as well. And then we have Simon Property Group down here as well. So retail has not been doing too positive here. And what else do we do? We hit 5,000 subscribers here on our YouTube channel. So thank you guys that are watching this video right now, as a viewer, as a subscriber, as just a individual out there who has helped this channel progress by smashing the thumbs up, by subscribing to the channel. I want to go ahead and thank you for checking in. Let me know down in the comment section below if there's anything specific you guys would like to see here in the future, but definitely say hello. And then of course, we're continuing to work on thinning down our portfolio over on M1 Finance, make it more focused, where in the future I would like to just turn on auto invest and really be hands off of that portfolio, where I have the companies in it that I feel very strong, being able to reinvest in them and not having to watch it and babysit it. And then I will be more focused on just Fidelity, where I will be doing a little bit more active investing and long-term investing within that portfolio. So that is some of my upfront stuff. So here, hopefully in March, we'll be closing, stuff like that. But that is going to be it for today's video. Let me know down in the comment section below if there's anything you'd like to see in the future. And of course, if you are brand new to the channel, have not yet subscribed, go down below, hit the red button to subscribe, make it gray, hit the bell to be notified every time we release a brand new video. And of course, give me a thumbs up, make it blue, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.